Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, welcome to another market open stream. Bitcoin dumped to $69,000, a level we haven't seen since 2024. And this happens to be the high of 2021. So, is this bottom, or are we going to go lower? What is causing this dumpage? Why do we seem like we keep going down? Well, let's discuss. Let's discuss. All right, let's do it, guys. Welcome. We are sitting right at 70,000. We pushed up a little bit, but we are down 4% right now, and alts are getting crushed. Alts are getting crushed. Okay. And by the way, of course, I've been doing this. Predict the live viewers. A lot of you guys have put in your predictions this morning. There's 3 minutes left. This will be done every single day. Just want to remind you guys on Clash Picks. And this is with P Clash, which is given out for free. All right. But yeah, like I've been saying, alts are getting crushed. Sol is now at $89, below 90. Sui is now below $1. AVAX below 10. XRP at 135. ETH getting close to 2,000. And today, silver and gold are both dumping. So it's like one of those days where everything is dumping. Everything is looking bleak. The US market is opening up red, very, very red, especially NASDAQ down 1.4%. MicroStrategy down another 6%. I'm going to have to talk about him in a little bit. Robinhood, Coinbase down 3.5%. And unfortunately, the jobs report that we were supposed to get tomorrow has been canceled or delayed because of the government shutdown. I mean, the government shutdown was just like, what, 3 days? And somehow they can't generate their numbers from their computers just because we had a shutdown, a temporary shutdown for 3 days? I don't quite get it. So now the big job report that could have turn things around is no more. I don't know when it's going to be. I still don't get why it's so hard to get jobs report. This was a problem for November too, but we were just shut down for like 2 days, not even 3 days, 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. I don't even get it. I don't even get it. Geopolitically, it seems like President Trump and President Xi, they had a talk. They had a phone call to talk about things. There's a visit to China, but also about other things, like what's going on with Venezuela, what's going on with Iran, and what about Taiwan? Because we've been selling a lot of military stuff to them, like missiles and stuff. And don't know what was said, but you got to figure China's stances, that's bad. Don't cross the line. I don't know what that means. Because China still maintains that Taiwan is theirs. And they want to take it over, right? So I think the US will not let that happen as long as we still need all those chips from TSMC in Taiwan. That's why I found it really weird that recently there was this big agreement for TSMC to build more fabs in the US, and they're still trying to finish theirs in Arizona. I mean, once that's done, there's like nothing to protect Taiwan. There's no reason for the US to do that. So it's like accelerating their, not demise, but takeover. I don't know. So it's kind of weird. But, and then there's also this. The U.S. called for a block to counter China's leverage in critical minerals, rare earth minerals that's used for so many things like batteries and solar and so forth. So still a little tension there. That's for sure. Not full-blown tension, but just a little tension. Anyways, with all this right now, all this uncertainty, Bitcoin dropped below 69 or 70,000, right? The sell-off continues every single day. Yesterday we fell down to like what, 70, 76 or 74. The day before we fell down to 80. The day before we fell down to 85. It just seems like this is non-stop now. But here's the thing. I see someone in the comments ask, where's the money going to? Normally, when you see stock sell off, crypto sell off, you see gold and silver skyrocketing. But silver's down 13% today. Where's the money going to? Is the conditions so bad that people rather just hold dollars at this point? That's what it seems like. People would rather hold dollars than buy any kind of asset, any store of value. But the dollar is collapsing. The value of the dollar is going down too. Bonds are being sold off, and the dollar has been crashing. But I guess it's crashing less than everything else. But like that's the only logical thing. It's like, where's the money going to? Nowhere. It's just being held in cash right now. Temporarily. People rather hold cash than even buy gold and silver right now. That's how fearful the overall market is. But you know, like the strange thing is, there's not like one particular thing that you could point to, right? Like right now, if someone asked me, you tell me, George, what's the one reason why we're selling off? I can't tell you. There's not one huge major thing that's happening right now that is causing all this. It just seems like it's cascading FUD right now. That's what it is. Everyone's scaring themselves into thinking it's worse than the situation is, right? Like there's not one thing, one major thing that is causing this to have everything sell off other than pure fear right now. So that's the situation. Liquidations, not helping right now. So as you can see, over the last 24 hours, almost another billions of longs wrecked. Even short side, 200 million. So overall, over $1 billion. So it doesn't matter if you're short or long. But right now, there's not a whole lot of longs left. They were all liquidated. We looked at it the other day. I can bring it up during Q&A. There's not that much. There's a lot more shorts than longs these days. But man, some of the charts I've seen of these like famous traders on X that made 8, 9 figures, they're all in the negative now, right? So it's like when things are good, everyone looks like a genius, especially traders, because they'll show you all these huge ROIs. But when things are bad and we don't recover, you know, the charts really mean nothing. TA really means nothing. When we're going down, we're going to go down. When whales are manipulating or selling, we're going to go down, right? That's just how it is. But having 1 billion worth of liquidation ain't helping, that's for sure. Ain't helping. As for ETF inflow, minus 500 million yesterday for Bitcoin, minus 80 million for ETH, which is actually surprising. I thought it would be more than that. That's why it's surprising. XRP actually pulled green, which is really good. And Sol, unfortunately, pulled red, minus 7 million. Haven't seen Sol have outflows much. I think that's only the second time. But anyways, yeah, this is no surprise. All this fear is driving people out. Right? And if you think you have it bad, think about these two guys. They're kind of like the faces right now. in crypto. One, the face of Bitcoin. One is the face of ETH, the two biggest crypto that we have. How much scrutiny is on them right now, right? Everyone's second guessing every move that they make now. You have one person that's holding 713,000 Bitcoin with a $4.5 billion unrealized loss, and another holding 4.2 million ETH with a 7.5 billion unrealized loss. How do you think these guys feel? Probably not that good, right? But are they going to give up? Are they going to stop buying? Are they going to start, what's even worse, are they going to start selling? The answer, I believe, although I don't have a magic ball and I don't talk to them on the phone, but I think I know for a fact that the answer is no to both of these. They're not going to stop buying, and they're not going to start selling. There's no reason for them to, okay? They're going to continue to hodl, and they're going to continue to DCA, but on a bigger institutional level. Now, strategy has been buying since 2020. Although they accelerated since 2024 to 2025, most of the buys come from the last like 2 years. So I will say Saylor has an advantage, right? He's proven that he could go through these times. He was DCAing even during the last crypto winter, and Bitcoin's price was below his average buying price for a long time. So he has seen this before, but maybe not at the same level of scrutiny as now, but he has seen this before. But Tom Lee, on our hand, is new. He's not new to the space, but BitMine's ETH treasury company is certainly new. He's only started accumulating within the last year, and he accumulated 4.2 million ETH. Most of that is towards the top, not the bottom, right? And he certainly isn't as respected as Michael Saylor. So we'll see how Tom Lee handles this. But regardless of how you slice it, that's massive loss. Just between the two of them is 12 billion of unrealized losses. Right? There's no way to make that look pretty. There isn't. But there's always a but here. There's always an asterisk. When it seems like it's all lost and it's going to zero, and we're going to go into a deep, deep, deep crypto winter, which we may never come back from. These are all things that have been said before. Not one thing that you could think of, not one thing that you have heard from someone else that's super bearish hasn't been said before. I've been doing these streams since 2017, okay? 2017. Almost 9 years. I can't believe that I've been streaming for almost a decade. It made me age probably 20 years. But I've heard it all, and I've seen it all. I've seen Bitcoin below $1,000. I've seen it crash below $10,000. I've seen collapses. I've seen black swan events. I've seen it all. I've seen CZ go to jail. Like things that you think that we could never really truly recover from, we do. Massive hacks of projects. Remember those days? Hundreds of millions being hacked, sold. We've seen it all. Well, I've seen it all. Not everyone has seen it all, right? So the good news is whenever we get to a point of capitulation, when everyone seems like they have lost hope, that's usually when we find a footing and turn around. It's feeling like we're there right now, okay? It's feeling like we're there. There's so much fear. It's getting to a point where it's ridiculous. That's why everything's selling off. And it's not just crypto. There's so much fear that people don't even trust gold and silver anymore. Just take a second to think about that. that there's so much fear that they're selling off commodities. And we have seen that before. We saw it during COVID time. We saw people sell off commodities, right? During recession times, we have seen that before. But that's usually when we're ready, okay? We're getting ready to form that bottom and turn around. I mean, this is like, we may not be there yet, but we're really close, I believe. I could be completely wrong. We're not close, but I feel like we are very close. Because right now, like I said, there's not one particular major thing that anyone could say that's causing the huge decline in everything, other than fear itself. Everyone's just fearing themselves into selling. But those that have been through it, those that truly believe, will continue to DCA. Will continue to hodl at least. If they have no money, they can't DCA, but at least hodl. And then if they make some spare money, they'll go DCA. That's what I've been doing slowly. More so into Bitcoin than anything at this point, okay? But there are still people that are buying Bitcoin or buying strategy. As bad as strategy stock has been and the preferred stocks have been, there are people that are still loading up because they believe either in Saylor or the yield that he's promising, or because they believe in Bitcoin. Sotheby's CEO or former CEO is doing that. You got Ohio State's teacher retirement fund that bought more strategy too. You have this, I don't know what company this is, Hyperscale Data, that just bought a little bit more Bitcoin. They're ranked number 62 on the list. CleanSpark mining company just added 414 Bitcoin. Right? So that's the bottom line, right? Anyone that's lived through Bitcoin for a while, at least one cycle, knows that we have seen much worse. The fundamentals are actually much better now than before. And even the price action, as bad as it seems, us being at $70,000, everyone forgets that the low point of 2024 was $36,000. Okay, we're still like double from that. People have forgotten how low we were in prior years. In 2023, we were at 15,000. And in 2024, we were at 36,000. Yes, last year, we're a little bit higher in terms of low price at 74,000. We're not that far off, and the year is still young. So we have plenty of time to recover once we get over all this fear. Okay? And the fear is not just crypto related. It's everything. It's all assets. There's just so much fear right now. Okay? But, like I said, this feels definitely like we're close. If we're not ready, not there. And you do have other things that show capitulation, right? For example, capitulation being high, or weekly RSI being low. Low as bottoms of crypto winter. Bottoms of crypto winter. That's how oversold we are. Right? Like, we have so many metrics, so many signals, indicators, all this that show the similarities between what's going on right now with capitulation, with oversold levels, as previous crypto winters. Okay? And I've lived through all these crypto winters. 2014 crypto winter, 2018 crypto winter, 2022 crypto winter. I've lived through all those. And it may have been stupid, but I held everything. I wrote it up and wrote it down. Some people will say, well, that's stupid. You could just sell at the top, right? But the thing is, no one knows. No one knows. Even in 2021, We went to 64,000, crashed to 28,000, and then went back to 69,000. Sometimes you just don't know. People that panic sold at 28,000 lost out. They didn't buy back, and Bitcoin rode back to 69,000. I mean, like, again, I hodl because I try not to guess. Whenever I feel like I try to guess, and I like, let's say I play with leverage or whatever, I'm usually wrong. These market makers are really good. These manipulators are really good. They know how to make you think one way and then go the other way. They've been doing it for 100+ years. Wyckoff pattern has been in existence for over 100 years because stock market has been out a lot longer, and these whales know how to manipulate the market. So don't try to outsmart them. The wise thing to do is not panic, hodl, and DCA if you can. That's really it, especially when it comes to an asset like Bitcoin. Now, it's a little bit different, but Bitcoin, it's never going to go away. It's going to stay and only get stronger. Now, any other thing that can help us, like a temporary jolt that can move us higher. Well, there's a lot of talk about Clarity Act. State Democrats pushed this to 72%. And I know President Trump, this is on his mind. He's talking about it. Scott Bensent is talking about it, right? So this will get passed. This could be a huge jolt, a huge catalyst for crypto. We saw the Genius Bill pass before. That's more around stablecoin regulation. Clarity Act is like a broader framework for all crypto. And right now, there's not a whole lot. Right now, it's a very relaxed stance. Right? Like right now, it's like anything goes by the SEC, CFTC, which is kind of good, but you know you need still something. You need some kind of framework, some kind of definition of what is a security, what's not, who's authorized to operate in the US and who's not. There's a lot of things, right? And this is being pushed. And this could be a huge jolt for us. So just to throw that out there. All right. That's pretty much it. Let's see. Today, NASDAQ recovered a little bit. MicroStrategy and Coinbase certainly did not. MicroStrategy is now at minus 8%. Clash is still holding very strong, even though we did go down a little bit. We're at 40 million right now, but still extremely strong, especially considering that Sol is now at 90 and Bitcoin is at 70,000. Again, we started Clash when Sol was at 220. No other project is holding as well as that. But looking at today, MicroStrategy down 8% down to 2024 levels, just like Bitcoin, down to 2024 levels. Coinbase down to 160. Man, I can't believe Coinbase was at 400 something not too long ago. All right, let's do some Q&A. T-Rev says, millionaires are made from bear markets. Millionaires and billionaires. You buy low and you sell high, right? No one times it. I mean, if you listen to all the famous billionaire investors of Wall Street, they'll all tell you, every single one will tell you, they're more of like macro traders, okay? Meaning They can't tell you what something's going to do tomorrow or even the next week or next month. But what they trade is macro conditions, like if there's a recession or something that's causing mass panic, then they buy. And then when there's too much euphoria and things seem too heated, then they sell. That's what they all do. They don't sit here and look at, okay, tomorrow I think it's bottom, so I'm going to buy. No. They look at the overall conditions, the macro conditions. They're like, okay, something has been down 30, 40%. Fear level is extremely high. Everyone is panic selling. So this is a good time to get in. That's how they do it. They may have a lot of advanced metrics and stuff like what I show you guys comparing to previous cycles and previous recessions or whatever. They do have that. But ultimately, that's what they do. They don't try to day trade. They don't try to outsmart the market daily to make their billions. That's not how they did it. So I think that's the best course. And if you don't want to do any of that, just continue to hodl. That's basically it. Like I said, right now, even gold and silver is dumping. That shows you how fearful it is right now. People, even the big funds and institutions, rather hold cash than even these precious metals that have always been their kind of stable coin. Right? That goes to show you what the fear level is right now. Okay? I mean, it's just really, really fearful all around. It's not just crypto related. Surprisingly, Broadcom is up today, 4%. And Nvidia is up. AI is still kind of holding. Surprisingly. We're going to do some more events and clash picks around some of these big companies like Tesla and Nvidia. So we're going to start doing that pretty soon. Yesterday, I mean, not that this has anything to do with anything, but yesterday night when I was streaming my tournament, we had a giant whale come in and make a predictions on the Oilers versus Flyers game. It's a hockey game. He put in 200,000 on the Oilers, 200,000 clash. And it made everyone take the opposite side. and the Flyers won. It was actually quite exciting for those people that were in Clash picks or in Clash. Really excited. Made me and everyone else forget about the fact that Bitcoin was at $70,000. But we're gonna have a lot more predictions around everything, like the one I've been showing you guys in the morning. Predicting the live viewers, which right now it's at 3,400, which is quite high. This one's really popular. Clash to reach 100 million market cap in the next 2 weeks, which seems very unlikely considering we're at 40 million. But I'm hoping that community rallies and makes it a yes, because there is a ton of liquidity. That same whale put a ton on the no side. But sports around Super Bowl, obviously that's coming up. There's so many. And then for crypto predictions, world events, there are so many daily stuff. We're going to do like more finance and tech. You guys need to check out Clash. Don't fade it. And check out Clash picks. We're making more improvements. We're going to add a DEX soon. Very, very soon. We're going to build in a swap in Clash picks. Do you think some companies are trying to test Saylor to force sell his Bitcoin? No. He won't need to sell right now. In the next few years, maybe. Because he has to give out a lot of dividends, okay? All this like preferred stock that he's been selling, he's promising juicy dividends like 8, 10, 12% dividend. So, you know, if he can't raise more money and he has to pay, then that's when there could be some selling. Although maybe he has some other way to do it, because he says he never needs to sell. He says even if Bitcoin goes to $1, he'll never need to liquidate. So I don't know the math on that, but everyone's thinking that, you know, when those dividends are due, then he has to do something. Can he refuse to pay the dividend? No, he cannot. That would be very bad. You know, that's basically fraud. Jason Starks asking, without being biased, which one do you think will happen this year? Sol to 600, Clash to $1. In my opinion, well, that's a tough one. I should make that into a prediction event. That's a really tough one. So I think it'll probably be easier for Clash to hit $1 than Sol to 600. Because right now, every time Sol starts moving up just slightly, Clash goes up way more. There are a lot of people that really believe in Clash. A lot of whales that are playing it, trading it. Unfortunately, they're trading it, but there's more buying than selling. So if Sol can literally go up like 8x from here, 9x from here, I think Clash will be above $1. And as Clash picks continue and more volume comes in, it's going to make Clash more deflationary. That's the whole point of it. More Clash will be taken out, goes into Treasury, and soon when we enable Sol and USDC, USDT events, we'll use that and convert it to Clash, which will add buying power. So there's a lot of stuff that's in the works. But to answer your question, I think Clash to $1 before Sol hits 600. George, stay on until we hit 62K. I don't think we're going to hit 62K. Next stop is like 65 if we keep going. And if we do keep going, it'll be like 60. And then I think 58 is the cost of electricity for Bitcoin. So that should be a hard stop. But I don't think we go down that far. I don't. But again, I don't have a magic 8-ball. I just know this. I've lived through and I've seen some horrible times for Bitcoin and crypto. And every time it seems like it's all over and everyone is selling. It's complete capitulation. That's when we turn around. It feels kind of like that. For me, it doesn't feel quite like that because Clash is doing so well. It's making me kind of forget about everything. And everyone in Discord kind of feels that way, or at least they act like that, because Clash and Clash picks have been doing so well. It's a really good distraction from everything else. But yeah. It was kind of like this back last year. From December to April, it was really horrible because of all the tariffs. That's when the tariffs were in effect. Markets were super fearful, and then everyone's selling. And then all of a sudden, April, it found a bottom, and then we recovered. The tariffs were still in effect. People just got used to it and realized, okay, the tariffs aren't going to totally destruct everything, right? It feels kind of like that, but again, back last year, we knew it was due to the tariffs. Now it's like, what does it do to? There's a lot of little things, a lot of ongoing things, but it's not due to one particular huge thing, right? So that's why it feels weird right now. There's not like one particular huge event that's coming up that's causing everyone to sell. It's just blanket fear right now. Z Brushing says, how is Clash doing so good when it's down 40% from the week? You want to see? This is what it looks like on the 4-hour chart. Okay, for Bitcoin. This is what it looks like for Sol on the 4-hour chart. This is what it looks like on the 4-hour chart for Clash. Okay. So beginning of the year to now, we are up majorly. Pull up any other chart and look at it. It's vastly different. So stop trying to nitpick. We were down to 15 million at one point, you know, but the community rallied, the community got behind it and started buying. We were just at 60 million the other day. Almost everyone in Clash is up. They either got really early or they bought one was like 15 million. So there's really no worries there. But since the beginning of the year, everything else has been crashing to hell. You know, that's the honest reality. Let's see. If I had to, I would say this will be a hard stop right here. If I'm drawing a line. Oh, that's not a line. Horizontal line. I would say right here. Either here or here. Like it could be here. That could be a bounce point right around 66.8. If that doesn't hold, then probably around right here. I think that holds. I think that'll be the next stop. If we keep going, it'll be 66.9. That's a resistance from all the way back here in 2024. If we do break below that, that it's probably going to be about 63 or right here, 59.9, which is about 60,000. There. Beware of the Wyckoff spring. I think we're in that Wyckoff spring right now. It makes a lot of sense. Who the F is selling Wintermute? I don't know. There's a lot of people that point Wintermute. Are they really selling, or are they selling on behalf of someone? You know, Binance is taking a lot of heat because every time it dumps, there's like you could see it, large sells from Binance. But then is it Binance themselves, or is it because people are just selling from Binance, right? Like, we don't have that kind of information. Binance, of course, saying, well, it's because customers are selling, not us. But we don't know what's their funds and what's mingled, you know, and what's part of, you know, the customers. But a lot of fingers out on Binance. A lot of fingers pointing at Binance. OKX pointed them. I mean, their biggest competitor, OKX, which is a huge exchange in itself, their CEO came out pointing fingers directly at Binance. Said they caused the biggest liquidation event ever in history on 10/10. And that's when you could argue was the top of crypto. Everything started coming down since then. That was literally the top point. I wouldn't touch AVAX until sub $4. You know, just for fun. Let's see where AVAX is. All right, let's go back. This doesn't even go back that far. Well, yeah, it does. I just need to zoom out. AVAX is down to their crypto winter low of September of 2023. And this doesn't even measure before that because AVAX got really hot in 2021. That's when it like reached the moon, and then it fell down, and then it came up slightly last year. But it has fallen to the same low level of crypto winter 2023. ETH is at 2,000 now. ETH has fallen not to the low of crypto winter. Their crypto winter was 1,000. So they're still far off from there. Okay. Hopefully we don't see 1,000 ETH ever again. But yeah, so they're still far off. Sol's crypto winter was at like $20. At one point, they went to $8. I remember that. That was after like the FTX crash, and everyone thought Sol was going to die. So I remember they hit like $8. But they hovered mostly around 20. They are far, far, far away from that. Sui is close to their crypto winter level. Not really. They're still way higher. They fell to, in 2024, they fell down to about 47 cents. Their crypto winter was about 37 cents, so they're still way above. So AVAX honestly has been performing horribly. So they're at their crypto winter levels. The other alts are still like 2-3x higher. But man, there's just too much fear right now. Just too much fear. Retail confidence is shattered right now, so that is also an indicator that things can turn around because of all the fear. 67.9, man. If we keep going, let's see if we get a hard bounce right at that 67 level, 66.9. Coinbase down. Sailor just tweeted hodl. I hate saying hodl. I like saying hodl, but I don't know. There we go. That's gonna do it. Look at the trolls. The very first comment. Grok, is Michael Saylor screwed? Hodl. Strategy down 11%. See, this is why you really don't. This is why, you know, get your news, but don't read the comments. I think X comments are probably the worst of any social media platform. It's just, there's a bunch of trolls. But yeah, Saylor and Tom Lee, these two guys are probably not feeling very good right now. Sounds like we need a black label. Yeah, I don't think it's the right time for a blue label. We got to go cheap. We got to go below black. So what's the cheapest Johnny Walker? Red label. I think that's the cheapest one. We got to downgrade to red for a while. They have green labeled too. I don't know if green is higher than red. I don't even know why you need so many colors. They have like gold or double black. Like there's all these like colors. I don't know why you need so many. Green is higher than black. Okay. The hope is, guys, well, my whole stream was about hope. Okay. So I'm not going to repeat it. If you got in late, rewatch the beginning. But the hope is this. There's not one definitive thing that anyone could say is the real reason for the drop. Okay. We got a lot of uncertainty. Yes. But there's not one damning thing that is causing this. There's nothing fundamentally that have changed. So that means right now, all the selling is basically due to fear. That's it. Fear itself. Anticipation of fear, right? So whenever we go through these periods where it's just really fearful, a lot of FUD, a lot of panic selling, a lot of capitulation, that's usually when we find a bottom, we turn around. Every single time. I've been through 4 cycles, lived through all the crypto winters, seen all the black swan events, all the collapses, all the hacks, everything. Whenever it gets to a point where it seems like all hope is lost, that's usually when we find the bottom and turn around. And it will happen again this time too. I don't know when that is. There's a lot of levels that we can hit before that happens, but it's going to happen and we will turn around. That's how it works. So that's the only really encouraging thing I could say. It's like there's not like one really damning thing. It's not like something huge is going to happen next week or 2 weeks. That's going to be really, really bad. We don't have any of that. Right now, it's just blanket fear. So much fear that even gold and silver are being sold off. That should tell you how much fear there is. When gold and silver is selling off like crazy, that tells you there's basically just blanket fear out there. So much fear that people rather hold dollars when we know dollars are devaluing, debasing, and becoming more worthless, even on a short-term scale. So that tells you something. The market is set up perfectly for a Black Monday event, then we bottom. Could be. Could be. If we keep going down, here's the next few levels, okay? 66.9. And then after that, it'll be right at 60K. And maybe we do have a flash crash down to 60K, or we have a Black Monday event or something. But I could feel like we're close. We're close. Now, when we hit these levels, there will always be people saying, well, we're not close. We're going to fall back to 15K because that was the low of the last crypto winter. People always say that. When we were at 15K, people said, we're going to fall back to 3,000, the previous crypto winter. We didn't do that. Okay. So are we falling from 68K down to 15K? No. No, we're not. So there will always be people that are super bearish, leaning on one side or another, right? But that's why we look at the conditions. We look at the macro conditions. We look at overall what's going on fundamentally. And then you pair that with some educated metrics and charts, and you put it all together. $40K seems reasonable. According to Brian Woodbury. Tell me why it seems reasonable to you. What logical thing that tells you 40K seems reasonable? Zachary asks, is AVAX dead? I just answered that. So they're hovering right at the same levels as bottom of crypto winter last cycle, which is around $8 to $9. So they're hovering right there. They have dropped more than most of the alts. Like ETH and Sol, you know, they're still, and SUI, they're like 2-3x higher than their bottoms. So they're still doing well compared to crypto winter. But AVAX has not been. Tilt, no guilt. Time to buy, not cry. Yes. Just think about it. Are we closer to bottom or are we closer to top? Right? If you were making a prediction, are we closer to a prediction? Are we closer to bottom or are we closer to top? If I was making that prediction, I would say we're way, way closer to bottom than to top, right? So that should tell you everything you need to know. Unless you really feel like we are closer to top than we are to bottom, which doesn't make sense because basically that would put Bitcoin at zero. So just think about it, right? We don't know the exact bottom. It could be at 66.9. It could be at 60K. But you know we're going to hit it. We're going to hold there. We're going to bounce and then recover. Always, every single time. No one knows the exact bottom until enough time has passed and we could call it bottom. Just like when we were at 15K, it's the same thing. When we were at 15K, people didn't believe that was the bottom. When we were back here, okay? People did not believe that this was bottom. People thought that we would go lower because if you look at it like this, why not? Why couldn't we go lower? We could go lower. When we were right around here, people were calling for sub 10s and we would drop to $3,000. But no, we didn't. We found that bottom and then we started recovering. Even when we started recovering, we went to 30s and we dropped back to 20s. People were calling, we're going to go back to 15, right? You can never know 100% until enough time has passed. Then once we kept going, we're like, okay, yeah, 15K was the bottom, right? But even months afterwards, even after that rally, we had a pretty significant dip here. And people are like, okay, well, we might go back to 15K, right? That's how it is every single time. And this was, I remember this because it wasn't that long ago. This was right after all the black swans, okay? FTX collapsed. And then you got Celsius, Voyager, BlockFi, Gemini earned, and then three commas, and what else? Like everything collapsed. The government was closing down like everything. SEC and Gary Gensler was having a field day pointing fingers at crypto. We still found a bottom and we recovered. Okay. People hodled or hodled or DCA'd. People bought Sol at $8 at that point. Sol fell to $8. You're still 10x from that point, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. Whatever we fall to, we're going to hold there for a little bit, and then we're going to recover. We just don't know where that is. No one knows. No one knew for sure it was going to be 15K before. And it was. But this is why I'm looking at the sentiment, overall fear level, and then you add in some of these other things. Look at the macro factors. Because the macro conditions really, really bad right now in the US or around the world. You could say yes, but that leads to rate cuts, liquidity, right? That's actually a good thing. That's something we could look forward to this year. And then you look at all the geopolitical stuff, right? You know that's going to end. All this like tariff trade war stuff, it's going to end. It's not going to be ongoing forever. Oh, look at that. Look at that. We bounced right off of there, right? That's good. Let's see if that could be a support for us. If not, the next one is probably 60K. Nicola says, guys, I've been watching George since the start of 2018. Listen to this, man. Life-changing money if you go hold on DCA. I mean, that's what it comes down to. That's really it. When it comes to making money with investing, not trading, not gambling, not anything. When it comes to making money with investing, like with Bitcoin or even alts, even though it looks really bad for alts, it's a matter of hodling and DCAing long term. The longer you hodl and the more you DCA, the more you make. The Bitcoin billionaires that exist now is due to hodling and DCAing. The altcoin millionaires, even the meme millionaires, again, hodling, DCAing. Not trading, not day trading. Okay, they didn't become billionaires or multimillionaires, centimillionaires by day trading. George, you once said you would sell your cars to buy Bitcoin and fell to 60K. I might do that. Although it's winter and it's kind of hard to sell nice cars. But if we truly did fall to 60K, I would probably seriously consider doing that. I would actually just trade it for Bitcoin if anyone wants to. But I would doubt that anyone wants to at that time. Yazir, I think that's how you say it. George, I'm confident we're at bottom and I'll see Bitcoin 100K during 2026. I'm gonna put that up as his prediction. I myself think we have 100% chance of hitting 100K again this year. 100%. That's how confident I am. I don't know where the bottom is, but I do think there are certain levels that we will hit, and that will be it. This is one of the levels. The one after that is 60. The one after that is like 58. So it's one of these. I don't believe we're going to go to 40s or 30s or teens. But I'll create these on ClashPicks so that you guys can vote on it. You guys can make your predictions. And if you're right, you have huge bragging rights. And you can win some rewards, Clash rewards, if you are that good. When I say teens, the prices like falling to 15K, okay? 15. That's what I mean by teens, Native Faith. Not teens are buying crypto. I think you're not interpreting what I'm saying. Oh boy. Can we bounce above and use that as a support? I'm hoping that we don't see this today. Mrs. Sunshine, this is no game. This is no joke. I have almost my entire net wealth in Bitcoin and crypto. All right. So it's not like I'm saying this, but I've cashed out 100%. Like 99% is in crypto. That's how much I believe in it. And I always do this during the past few cycles. Because I know we'll find a bottom and recover. I don't want to risk. Anytime I've tried to risk, that's what I'm doing. You don't have to do it. You don't have to listen to me. If you're in a situation where you need the money, you don't believe, You want to get out, you want to cash out, it's your money. You do what you want. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just telling you how I see it, how I've lived through the past 9 years of being in crypto. What am I buying right now? I've been DCAing just Bitcoin. That's it. Just Bitcoin. Nothing else but Bitcoin. It's the only thing worth buying at this point, besides Clash. I mean, no, I take that back. The big caps, right? ETH, Sol, XRP, and then you throw Clash in there, you know, the top 5. Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, XRP, Clash. Those are the 5. Do I not believe in the 4-year cycle anymore? No, I don't. I think we're better. We moved beyond that. We'll always have a 4-year because of the halving event, but the game has changed, okay? Because of the institutions. They are in, they hold a large amount of the supply, and that changes things. We'll see. We'll see if that's correct. Mason 1, you're only saying that because you're not in the project and you missed out. That's the only people that are saying that. If you believe in me and you like me, you've been watching me all this time, why would you not believe that a project that I created and I'm putting all my effort into will do well? So you're only saying that basically out of jealousy because you didn't get in early like all the other people. I created Clash when it was 30K market cap, 30,000 market cap. So you ignored it, you faded it, so whose fault is that? And now you're saying you don't want to hear about it because you missed out on it? Well, boo-hoo. We have thousands of people that do want to hear about it and that got in and are still in. So stop crying about it. It's not a project created by someone else. If you're watching me right now and you believe what I'm saying, why would you not believe a project that I founded that I'm putting all my effort into? Like, it makes no sense. Anyways, I'm gonna get going here. Too many bears right now, upsetting my mood. But I know it looks bad. It is bad. It feels bad. No one wants to see Bitcoin go down, but let's see what happens with this. Can we hold at this resistance or support, I should say? If we can't, we'll probably be 60K, which is another 10% from here. But like I said this entire video, entire stream, I've sat through this. I've been in here for 9 years, even earlier than that, because I got in earlier in 2013. I've seen the 2014 low too, when Bitcoin hit $160. So I've sat through here, I've lived through, and I've streamed for you guys day in, day out, consistently every day for basically 9 years, even when I had no audience. We've gone through some rough patches, and every time we go through these rough patches, we see the same thing happen. Okay, we see the same kind of people come out, become fearful, capitulate, sell. And when fear levels are this high, that's usually when we find a bottom and we turn around. It happens every single time. No one knows the exact time, exact point, but it always happens. So HODL and DCA, if you can. If you can't, you need the money for something else, or you bought crypto on credit cards or on a loan, which you should not have, then you make the decision if you really need that money right now, right? All right, guys, have a good one. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see a lot of you guys in Discord. Take care.